Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Maisha Africa Real Talk. It's your girl Shiko. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. By the way, we've reached 106 subscribers. I am so grateful. By the way, I'm so pumped. Like every time I'm just checking, there's a new subscriber, which is so exciting, and I'm so honored. Thank you so much for your support, for liking, for subscribing, for sharing, for commenting, and just being like a whole support system for me. Because starting this thing, like I was so nervous, but I knew like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm so grateful that you guys are just making that, like you're validating that pretty much. Now, in today's topic, we're going to be talking about childhood trauma. This is kind of like an intense topic, but Maisha Africa, this is all we're about, talking about intense topics, opening up, safe space, Nini. So I can't wait for you guys to tune in. By the way, thank you so much, Sunpalm, for having me here and letting me use your space to shoot my show. I'm so grateful. So let me get my papers. I had some notes written, so let me get them ready, and then you can join me. Sawa? So yeah, guys, we're back. Karibuni again. It's Maisha Africa Real Talk, and today we're talking about childhood trauma. Childhood trauma is something that is an experience that it's basically experiences we go through when we're younger that traumatize us even when we're older. Like things that maybe our parents did to us or things that we went through. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to share a bit of my experience as well, because that's what I want to be doing. Like I want to be sharing my experiences. That way we can relate. And that way you see like you're not alone. So childhood trauma, like I said, is basically experiences that we go through when we're children. And they're traumatizing. I mean, they affect us emotionally, physically, psychologically. We just get affected when we're older, and sometimes we don't know how to deal with stuff or situations. So we find that we are held back. Like part of our brain subconsciously, we are still in that childhood state. And today I'm going to be talking about different types of trauma that we go through as children, and maybe touch on some of the bits that I went through, and then from there. So I wrote down some stuff. So when you see me looking down a lot, please don't wonder what am I doing. I'll try not to look down so much though. Sour. Yeah. So some of the traumas that we go through as children. Let me just read up. Yes. Psychological trauma, neglect, abandonment, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and also witnessing your sibling being abused by a parent, and mentally ill parents. That's also childhood trauma. So for me here, like in this list, I will talk about neglect and abandonment, emotional abuse and physical abuse, because that's something that I can relate to because of how I grew up. If you watched my video about teen parenting, I think I mentioned that I was raised by my grandmother. So my mom wasn't in the picture so much. But when she was, it wasn't usually good, because she is kind of like addicted to alcohol. Not kind of, okay, she is an alcoholic. So, okay, and I know this sounds so mean. I'm not trying to like make someone look bad, but this is my real life, so I'm not trying to make anyone look bad. Anyway, my mom is an alcoholic, and she has been ever since we were young. And this is something that's very sensitive for me, but I feel like sometimes it's necessary for me to talk about it, because even me, I'm also releasing. It's something that bothers me a lot, because I feel like my mom neglected us, and she definitely abandoned us when we were young. And till today, she's not even trying to be there for us. So I just accepted that. Okay, I haven't really accepted, because sometimes it definitely like disturbs me. But I just realized that she can't change, only if she wants to, and I can't force her to be in my life. So growing up, like she used to tell us, oh, like I'm going here, I'm coming back. And she'd never show up, or she would make comments like, when she was annoyed, she'd be like, I don't want you guys, I don't love you, you're not my children, blah, blah, blah. and sometimes she'd say it to me and not say it to my brother, or she'd say it to my brother and not say it to me. So it was like kind of on and off. It's like today she wanted us, today she didn't. And the only time like you had her saying she loved us was actually when she was high. That's when she'd tell you, oh, you're her child, oh, she misses you, oh, she wants you, oh, she loves you, she prays for you. And I'm like, why can't you say this when you're sober? But yeah, then again, there's that emotional abuse. That's, I mean, going through having an alcoholic parent, already that's just emotional abuse, because they're not going to listen to you, they're not going to put you first, they're always going to put you down, it's always just about them. And with her, like physical abuse, I saw it more with my brother than with myself, because I didn't live with her for too long. But if she would put her hands on us, it wasn't like she wanted to beat us, to correct us. It was like she wanted to beat us because she hates us. And it wasn't a good feeling. Like you'd come out of that beating with marks or with even emotional bruises, because you're like, yo, this is my mom, and I want her to love me, but she doesn't. So definitely it put like a stain in my heart. And from then on, like I've always just been trying on and off to like get her to want me, to love me, to care for me, but she doesn't. I've wanted her to be in my children's life, but she doesn't want. And so it is what it is. But it sucks. And I don't know about you guys. Like, do you guys go through something or have you gone through something that you feel you haven't gotten over? Have you gone through any of these traumas? Are you still going through it? Or are you a parent and you feel like, hey, maybe this is what I've been doing to my children, and I don't want to do this anymore? Like, comment in the comment section or DM me. We can talk privately, we can discuss, we can be there for each other. And if you've gotten over your childhood trauma or are in the process of getting through it, like, how did you do it? Because me, I feel like I'm still learning. And now that I'm a parent, it's like I'm beginning to be more aware of the things that I'm doing, and I'm trying to be more intentional in being a better parent and raising emotionally healthy children, because I want them to feel loved. I never want them to feel what I went through. So definitely, if you feel like we can relate, DM me. If you're not comfortable commenting in the comment section, and I'll definitely respond. Another thing is like sexual abuse. Let me just talk about that a bit. I haven't gone through that, but I do know some people who have. And I feel like all these traumas, man, they make us become like, they make us react in ways that we don't know why we are reacting like that, or we don't know why we respond certain situations like that when we're older. Maybe like you can find you have now, like the effects that it has on you as a grown up is probably anger, depression, being unresponsive. Sometimes physically, you can even have an eating disorder or night terrors, or even you don't sleep well, you don't sleep enough. So all those things, emotional outbursts, anxiety, anger for me, like, is definitely anger, anxiety, and depression is for me like it's something that I've really had to work on bit by bit, and it's like such a painful process, because it's usually it was usually so easy for me to just be sad, and it was or to get angry, like, because growing up, again, my mom, the way she would react to stuff is, I feel like, how I grew up learning that that's how I should react to them. Like in terms of anger, now being in a relationship with my husband and having children, I can't always just react as in a very, like, I can't always be angry, I have to be calm. And I feel like the beginning years of my relationship, that's something that I was definitely learning. Like, even when we'd argue with Jay, sometimes it would get really bad because I would get really annoyed. And I realized that hiyo ni tabia that I've carried with me because of my mother. And it bugs me a lot, because this is someone that you watch when you're growing up. This is someone that you think is showing you or giving you the right foundation, but really they're not. And now having 4 children with different characters, I'm like, first of all, I have to be calm. Second, like, I'm an amazing mother, and I know that I'm better than what my mom could ever be, and that I'm capable of responding in the most calm way. I'm capable of being an amazing parent, So I realized that, hey, I'm fucking myself up and I'm gonna fuck up my children if I continue being like that and being sad. I never wanted them to just see me sad all the time. Like, I was sad because I feel like I never believed that I was enough. I always felt because my mother didn't want me, I was never enough. Like that's the first person who brought, like that's the person who brought me on this earth, and the person who was supposed to love me but didn't. So my question to myself is usually like, if my own mother didn't want me, then what's making me so special for other people to want me? Like, I'm in a relationship that I've been in for almost 9 years now, and I have 4 children. And my husband, through it all, he's stayed. He's been patient. I mean, even him, he has his own like childhood traumas and stuff. But let me just say that someone who can stick with you through it all and be there, like, then you're definitely enough. Like, I don't even know why till today I still feel like in some situations or in some sense like I still need to be more. But I guess I'm beginning to understand slowly that also the way I was raised and the affirmations that I was thrown at, negative or positive, whatever it is I was being told, like it stuck subconsciously. And now that's the stuff that I carried with me and the stuff that I thought would help me. But now I have to undo all that and now create my own path for my own children as well. And so I just pray, like, even when you guys are going through your own stuff, or you figure out that this is why you're like this or why you're like that, that you're able to just overcome it. It's not an easy process. Don't judge yourself through it. Even if you fall short and something goes wrong, just pick yourself up and figure out how to move on to the next step. Because now, when it comes to like me being neglected, I feel like with everything I have, with everything I get, I'm always like this. I'm just like so clingy, and oh my gosh. And I know it sounds bad, but it's so true. And I'm so scared of being rejected. I'm so scared of being told no. I'm so scared of like just that fear of rejection for anything, even if it's a job offer, even if it's a friend saying, oh, we can't hang out, or I don't want to do this with you. I mean, I've always just had that fear because I'm like, oh my gosh, then what's wrong with me? Why am I not enough? Or why doesn't someone want this? Or what did I do wrong? You're always just questioning yourself. And it's not necessary. And even like with sexual abuse, like I don't know how someone can sit where they're sitting and think it's okay to hurt someone when they're uncomfortable. Like, how is that fun for you? I've never really understood that, and it's never sat well with me. And I'm like, it's not okay. Even for the people who do it, may the universe forgive you. Oh my gosh, because you're karma. Anyway, like, it's sad because you don't, as parents, we need to raise emotionally healthy children. We need to encourage them. We need to be there for them. This is a stage where they don't even understand who they are. They're just going with the flow. Like, if today we're going here, they're going. If today we're doing this, sawa. If we're not going to school today, they're just basically going with the flow, and the flow they're following is your flow. So if your flow is off and it's wrong and it's negative, I mean, that's how their foundation will be. And now when they go out in the world, it's gonna be like, well, this is what I'm used to, or this is how I should react. This is how I saw mom and dad reacting, so this is what it is. And maybe it's not how it's supposed to be. So we need to be very intentional and be conscious of what we're doing, and forgive ourselves for the times that we don't parent correctly, or we don't handle situations properly, or when we are insecure and let it out on someone else, because now you find that all your issues, your insecurities, you're chucking it on someone else, and maybe they didn't even deserve it. So even through those moments, let's be kind to ourselves and compassionate, and be real with yourself, and just be like, yo, okay, so I've messed up. What can I do to be better? Because me, when it came to getting angry, I was like, why am I getting so angry? And I'm not even angry at Jay. when you go down like to the root of it all, your anger is not even what you think it is, honestly. And when you ask yourself some questions, the truth will come out. Like for me, I know sometimes, like, let me just say myself, sometimes when Jay wants to leave or he's gone for long, with his friends or whatever, I usually feel like, oh, why can't you be around more? And not actually because I just want to spend time with him, and I guess because I just want to see him around, and because I feel better when he's around. But I also realize it's because that's what I needed when I was small. That's what I wanted from mom. I wanted her to be around. She said she would, but she wasn't. She would tell us she was going to the shop or something and never even show up for like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks, you're just by yourself with your sibling, trying to figure it out. Maybe you don't have food on all those days, So for me, I'm learning now. I'm realizing that Jay doesn't have to be around all the time for me to know that he's there for me or that he wants me. He can spend time with his friends and be him, and we can still be okay, and know that anyway, wherever he is, he still loves me, And so, I don't know, like, do you guys realize some of the things that you're doing now that maybe you are affected because of how your childhood was? I don't know. Let me know. So I wrote down some points of how you would know this is a toxic parent, or like what toxic parents do to their children. So I want to kind of like read them out and tell me if you relate, because I feel like when I read them, I was like, damn, like this is the truth. Like whoever wrote this and knew what they were saying. So I got these points from Instagram. I will try and remember to tag the page if I do. Number 8. But I just saw these notes and I just wrote them down, Kiasi, and we can discuss them a bit because they do make a lot of sense. Now, one of the points was making unhealthy comparisons. This is what I mean when it comes to making unhealthy comparisons. Like you compare your child with their sibling or with someone else from outside, and you're like, why aren't you like this? Why aren't you like so and so? Why aren't you dressed up like your sibling? And comparing your children is not okay, because I have 4 children, and all of them have similar traits, but they are very different. Tabi is different, Tamam is different, Malik is different, Ahab is different. But then in some ways, they're all just the same. You get what I'm saying? So I can't deal with Malik and Tamam the same way. Not because of when their age, but I'm looking at their character also. Like if Tamam is more emotional than Malik, then I have to be able to know how to handle Tamam better and like know how to approach him better instead of attacking him. So I can't always be like, Tamam, why are you always crying and Malik is not crying? That's not okay. So let's find ways. If you're trying to tell your child something, like, can you approach it in a more positive way? Otherwise, we're gonna mess up our children and make them feel like they're not good enough, and lower their self-esteem, and that's not what we're trying to do. Again, we're trying to raise emotionally healthy children. The second thing is criticizing your child for acting like a child. Asking questions like, why are you chewing like that? Why are you walking like that? Like, what's wrong with you? A child is a child. They're gonna do whatever they feel like doing. Ahab literally does whatever she feels like doing. I mean, not anything wrong, but I'm telling you, she can come and climb on you. She can come and sit on you or do the weirdest stuff on you, man. Or she'll roll on the floor and just play her own way or run funny, which is so cute. So you can't start questioning your child at such a young age, like, why are you like this? Honestly speaking, that's how they are. And when you start questioning them, I mean, you make them feel like they're not enough, you make them feel like they have a problem, like there's something wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with that child. That child is okay. You're the one who's like overthinking too much. You want your child to be perfect. You're trying to make your child look a certain way for the outside people, but let me tell you, accept your child as they are and let that child be that child. So what if they're chewing that food funny? See, as long as they finish their food, as long as they're enjoying the food, that's all that matters. Trust me. So yeah, let's not always complain. Let's not try and change stuff. And let me tell you, that child is you. So when you're hating on them, you're basically hating on yourself. The third thing, which I found interesting, is making selfish wishes. Saying stuff like, I wish you weren't born, I wish you weren't here, I wish I aborted you, I wish I didn't have you first, I wish you weren't this, that. Why are you telling your child that? I mean, it's not their fault they were born. First of all, it's not their fault you had sex. It is you. Tawa, you carried them for 9 months. You knew what was going to happen. So why are you saying all those things? I mean, you're going to make them feel like a burden. And even worse, they're going to self-harm. Because they're like, mom doesn't want me, dad thinks I'm like this. They don't even... depression, again. Depression. Just making your child feel like they don't belong. It's not necessary. Like, let's be different. Encourage your child more. Tell them that you love them, more. Speak on those positive stuff more. Let them know that they matter, because they need to know that. And if they don't know that from you, then they won't feel that from anyone else. It will be very, very, very hard, by the way, very hard for them.